Alright, so today I'm going to show you how to create a redstone relay in vanilla Minecraft. No mods. So if you're unfamiliar with electronics, a relay is basically just a switch that can be activated with an electrical signal. Now in Minecraft terms, a switch is just like this lever here. It has an on state and an off state. But the downside to a simple switch is you have to physically be there to activate it, and you have to physically turn it on and off. Well, what if we don't want that? What if we want a switch that can be activated by a redstone signal? Now, in real life, a redstone signal, if we replace that with electricity, that's basically how a relay in real life works. And most relays, they still have a physical switch component, but it also has a mechanism that allows it to be turned on and off by electricity. So that's what we're going to do in Minecraft. So for the physical portion of the relay, we're going to use a sticky piston, and we're going to place it right here in this 3x4 grid that's going to make up the relay. And then you'll want to put a block of redstone on the piston, like so. Then you take your redstone dust, put one here, here, work your way around, and then right here you'll need a redstone comparator, and you'll want it facing towards the piston, like so. And then we complete the circuit by putting one more redstone dust right here. And that is basically it for the relay itself. It's a very simple circuit. And now I'm going to show you how it actually works. So if you notice these light green blocks here, these are both input signal locations. So basically you can turn the relay on from either here or here. So let's turn it on from here. We're going to use a switch for the source. So when we activate the switch, the piston gets power momentarily. It pushes the block out, which then starts powering this redstone here, which returns to the piston and keeps it powered. So the piston is now in a perpetual on state, and the relay is on. The relay itself is in the on state. Now, a relay that only turns on isn't very useful, because then that kind of defeats the purpose of a switch if it's just always on. So if you look at this red block I have placed here, this is going to be the off signal terminal, or the off terminal. So if we put redstone here, when this comparator receives a signal, it's essentially going to turn it off. Now, there is a catch with doing this. So let's turn it back on. Turn it off. Works just fine. It doesn't matter how fast you hit the switches. It should still work every time. If you hit on and then off real fast, it will turn back off after a short delay. But anyway, the catch is that because this is a comparator, if this signal here is weaker than the signal it's receiving from the back, it won't work. So a workaround to that is to actually replace this redstone here with a repeater, because a repeater boosts the signal to the max, no matter how weak the signal it received was. So let me just demonstrate that real quick. Let's say we move it all the way over here. Let's turn it on. And then our switch is over here. Nothing. Just the signal's too weak. But if we use the repeater, turns off. So it doesn't matter how weak the signal is now. The redstone repeater will always ensure that the off signal, no matter how weak, turns the relay off. So now let's go to, why is the weather getting cloudy? There we go. So if we come over here, I have an example set up using the exact same relay circuit. So here we have a hopper, and if you're familiar with how hoppers work in Minecraft, let's get that out. If you're familiar how hoppers work in Minecraft, they basically stop working when they receive power. So it's kind of the opposite the way most things work. But just to demonstrate that, right now the hopper is not receiving power. So if we put some items in there, it's going to start dumping them into this chest as expected. But now let's turn the relay on. So the relay is on, and the hopper is receiving power. Which, by the way, all these orange blocks here represent places that you can power something from the relay. So as you can see, there's a lot of them. You can power something over here, here, wherever. The relay can power a bunch of different things from different sides. But in this case, we're using this terminal right here, which goes to the hopper. So now that the hopper is receiving a redstone signal, you'll notice that it no longer works. It's not dumping anything into this chest. So let's say what we want to do is, let's say we want the hopper to dump its inventory only when it's full. Well, currently I have a comparator here, and when you place a comparator by a hopper like this, the comparator actually outputs a signal that's proportional to how full the hopper is. So right now, if we remove this torch temporarily, it turns the relay off, and well, actually the relay was turned off by this comparator here, which is being powered by this hopper. Now you can see right now the hopper is currently dumping again. Well, let's go ahead and turn the relay back on. Immediately turns off. Well, what's going on here? Let's see. Because the comparator is outputting a signal, which it will do if there's any item in the hopper, even if it's just one. Let's just put one in there, and it dumped it into the chest. Alright, so it outputs a signal string proportional to how many items are in there. And because we have the redstone repeater here, even the weakest signal will turn the relay back off. And that's what just happened. Now, instead of getting rid of the repeater like so, a better way to control this circuit is by the torch we had here. So with the torch here, basically this comparator is comparing the signal. This is the strongest possible signal, having the torch right here, one redstone, and then entering through the comparator. So basically now the signal coming from the hopper has to be maximum in order to trigger the off circuit of the relay. So to demonstrate that, first we have to turn the relay on. That would help. So with the relay on, the hopper is turned off. It's receiving power, and thus the hopper is in the off state. So if we fill it up nearly full, we need a bit more sugar cane. Alright. Alright. It's one item away from being full, as you can see. And as soon as we add this last item, boom, relay turns off, and the hopper turns on. It's now dumping items into the chest. So that right there is a way you can use this relay to have a hopper dump its inventory only when it's full. Now, if you didn't have the relay, you could still do this. You could still have this comparator here, and you could even do a signal inversion, which would trigger the hopper to dump when it's full. However, it would only dump the first item, because once it dumps the first item, it wouldn't be full anymore, and then it would turn itself off. But we don't want that, and that's where the relay comes in handy. Let's set the time today here real quick. Alright, so you can probably see at this point why this relay is so much better than just a plain old lever. Because we can do the same thing the lever can do, but we don't actually have to be there. This hopper system is now completely automatic. So if you remember from our previous example, we turned the relay off by putting signal here. And that's basically just what the hopper is doing here. The hopper is acting as the off switch. But, well, rather the comparator here is acting as the off switch, which is triggered by the hopper. So with this torch in the closest position, we know that the hopper will only turn the relay off when it's at maximum capacity. Even if we fill it, it's almost full here. It's one item away from being full, but it's still not going to trigger it until we get that last item in. So, did you see that? The comparator sent a signal, the repeater sent it to this comparator, and then it turned the whole relay off. Now, let's say we don't want that. Let's say we want it to fill up, or we want it to start dumping its inventory when it's almost full, but not completely full. Well, to do that, what we're going to do is turn our relay back on. Hopper is now off. So what we want to do then is, let's move the torch away one. Now it is 2 blocks away from the comparator, which means the signal it's receiving is going to be slightly weaker, which means less power will be, or a weaker signal will be required from the hopper. So essentially we just lowered the threshold, so now the hopper does not have to be completely full in order to trigger the relay to turn off. So let's try 32. No. Let's keep adding a bit. Alright, 40. Let's add 2 more. Boom. So right there, that was just enough to trigger it, and the hopper is now emptying its inventory. So let's go ahead and turn the relay back on. And it does not have enough now. So let's go ahead and move the torch back one more. Still not enough. Let's move it one more. And there it goes again. So using this, using the fact that the signal decreases over distance, you can use that to your advantage to determine when you want the hopper to start dumping its inventory. Now, if we move the torch all the way back here, then I believe the hopper will be able to start dumping when it's less than half. Relay back on, hopper is off. Here's 1 stack, 2 stacks, and 2 stacks was enough to trigger it. So, as you can see, it's not a very complicated system, and it's pretty low profile. It doesn't require a lot of space, well, except for this part. But you know, if you really wanted to, you could snake this around, like so. You could snake it around as long as it's as long as there's 1 block in between each redstone line. It'll work. But at the end of the day, the relay itself is actually very compact, and you can do many different things with it. Like I said, this is just one example. If you want to think of other applications of this, you can either just think of real-world relays, which behave the same way, or you can just imagine a switch. Pretty much anything you can do with a lever, you can do with this relay, but you can do it automatically. So, it's a very powerful design. It allows you to do a lot of different things using automation. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I really wish, they would come out with an actual relay component so that you don't have to build all this. You already have a repeater, you have a comparator, why not make a relay? But, I'm sure there's mods out there that, allow you to do the same thing. But, in my opinion, I think it's always a nice experience to be able to build something yourself in vanilla that does what you want it to do. So, yeah. Just let me know in the comments if you think of anything neat you can do with this, or if there's anything else you'd like me to cover, and I'll consider it.